they can catch up.
Yep. Okay, everyone, it is 7:01. We're going to go ahead and start this evening. I'm Lynn Edwards. I'm the co-president. Most of you know that Sonia Lang usually runs this part of the meeting, but she's out of town on business. So it's me tonight, Michelle Alexander, our vice president, and Cheryl Bailey, our treasurer, is online. And I believe Kara is also traveling this week, our secretary. So it's just us. So I'll start out by saying we usually do, if you want to find the meeting minutes and a link to the video for the meeting, they'll be online on our website at rolandopark.org. The video is usually posted the next day with the treasurer's report. You don't have to be on Facebook to see the video. Just click the link. It'll take you straight to the video if you want to watch it. And next, I'm going to ask Cheryl, our treasurer, to give us a dues and membership update. Cheryl?
Okay, currently we're showing we have 54 members, which is a nice lift with our membership drive, but we still have a long way to go. So if you've not renewed, please do so. We really appreciate it, and it really helps us continue to do some of the work that we do. But we have 54 members, $672 in dues, $532.30 in donations, for a total of $1,204.30 in revenue for 2023. That would be 43 renewals and 11 new members.
Thanks, Cheryl. I would just say that even though we've had a lot of renewals in the last couple of weeks from our membership drive, we still only have about half the members that we had before the pandemic. So we're still down. Correct. And if you haven't renewed or would like to become a member, please visit our website, or you can talk to us after the meeting. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Cheryl. Next up, and we're a little earlier, Principal Noriega. Welcome. Folks, I know that not everyone knows that at the end of the year last year, Principal DeLuca left. He took another assignment. And we're pretty excited because we have Principal Olivia Noriega online, who just joined us just a few weeks ago as principal here at Rolando Park Elementary. So we wanted to invite her to come and meet the members here and just talk a little bit about herself and her role here at the school. Okay, you're welcome, Olivia.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm joining you all from home. It's nice to see that there's actual members sitting in the audience over there at the in the auditorium. Maybe next time I'll be live with you all. My name's Olivia Noriega. Very excited and happy to be part of the Rolando Park Elementary community. I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. I was previously an associate principal in the Crawford cluster at Euclid Elementary for 4 years. And when the opportunity came up to be a principal, Rolando Park is the school that I chose. I didn't apply to any other school. And I guess I'm getting ahead of myself here. Prior to being an AP in the district, I have been an educator for 19 years, and I'm a classroom teacher at heart. I taught grades kinder through 3rd grade. In various districts. I started in San Diego Unified. I moved with my husband up to the Sacramento area and taught in a suburban district there. Came back to the San Diego area and taught in San Marcos. And then when I had kids, the commute from city of San Diego to San Marcos was too taxing and taking up too much of my time. So I moved back into the district, got my foot in the door, taught for about 4 or 5 more years before I took on an administrator role, and then became the VP. And now I'm so excited to be here with you guys at Rolando Park Elementary. So this is my very first school as a principal. The teachers and staff have been so welcoming, as you all have been as well. They've been showing me the ropes of what Mr. DeLuca used to do, and I've been meeting with teachers one-on-one these past few weeks. I think I'm wrapping it up this week, just to get to know teachers about what their strengths are and what the strengths of the school are, what they'd like to see changed, and what we can grow on. So for me, it's really about building relationships this first year and getting to know the school community, since I'm the newbie to it all. And I just can't say enough about everyone that I've come across so far. Last Friday, we had our very first Family Friday and coffee with the principal alongside with Farmers Market. And it was very well attended from my perspective. Family members came in and the community came in to pick up fresh produce. I got to meet parents during the Family Friday. They were welcomed into classrooms to read with their students. And we just gave an update about what's currently happening at Rolando Park Elementary. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids who are also in the district. One is in elementary school, a 5th grader at Burney Elementary. The other is an 8th grader at Roosevelt. And I'm not too far away in my residence. I live off Adams Avenue. So I'm very well close by and very well a part of the Mid-City community, and look forward to growing and meeting you all.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Olivia. We look forward to working with you on some events and doing what we can do to support you as a community so you're successful here.
Thank you.
So the reason why you don't see them?
Hello, please mute yourself. Okay. We're moving on. We have some new community representatives joining this year. We lost Jawad al-Baghdadi a few months ago, and so in his place, we'd like to welcome Willow Lance from Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office. Welcome.
I'm going to stand.
Sure.
See. Yes, as Lynn mentioned, Jawad is no longer in her office. So I've taken over the community portfolio for Rolando Park. And so I have some updates. This August, the Congresswoman was in the district for the entire month. So as a member of the House Armed Services Committee, she's on the Quality of Life panel. And it's all about investigating sort of what's going on with our military and making sure that our service members have housing, care, all of that. And so while she was in the district, she went on several tours, and including a town hall with the San Diego Military Advisory Council. So she got a lot of interaction with constituents, specifically those that are currently active duty. While she was also here, she got to meet with a lot of LGBTQ+ organizations that are working in the district. So she got to go see the Hillcrest Youth Center that down Hillcrest, that's one of the only youth centers in California, and sort of talk with those students and individuals who have those services available to them, as well as got to go to the Human Rights Campaign annual dinner and sort of speak about what's going on in the nation and sort of what her role in this is. Also, just actually around the corner at the Grantville trolley station, they built all these apartments. So if you live near that trolley station, there's now an apartment that you can live in and have access to that public transportation. So we're really focusing on the climate change aspect, making sure that people have access to that sort of thing. The other thing too I wanted to point out was that our office is always available to help with federal casework. So if you're having a problem with IRS, the Postal Service, anything that's covered under the federal side, I'm your woman. I'll leave my cards, and you'll know how to get in contact with me, but we're here to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willow.
Yeah.
Nice to have you here. Thank you. Next up, we have another new representative. Most of you, I hope, know Martha Zapata retired in May. And from District 9, we'd like to welcome Roberto Marin. He's actually been on board for a few months, but this is his first meeting since we've been on summer break. Roberto?
Hey, Lynn, thank you so much. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. I'm currently at another meeting, so I'm doing two at one time. But I didn't want to miss out on this chance. My name is Roberto Marin, Community Rep for District 9, Shawnee Rivera's office. Just a quick, very quick summary of kind of who I am and what I do is I grew up in La Mesa, so Rolando Park and Rolando are very dear to me. Redwood Village, I have relatives and friends that live there, so I've been in and out of that neighborhood for over 15 years, so I know the problems that exist. And I know, every street, like if it was yesterday, I'm a cross country and track runner, so I've ran through the neighborhood, so I understand traffic safety, mitigation and stuff like that that exists in the communities. So very excited. Yeah, like Lynn said, I've been onboarded for about 3 months now. I'm really excited to work with the community and really excited to hopefully meet every single one of you at the next meeting. So I do apologize for not showing up. Currently I'm at another meeting, but just wanted to give you a quick update on a few things. It has been a long time since the last update was given. I believe it was in May. So there is a laundry list for me to go through. The first one starting off we all know of the Choyas Parkway encampments. They have been persisting for some time. We continue to work with city staff to address these issues. I know the encampments get cleared out and then they come back. So we're really trying to work at an innovative way to make sure that doesn't happen. But also the council president really emphasizes on getting resources, having that first interaction, making sure that folks are getting resources or they're offered resources before we go on to the next step, which is enforcement, excuse me. I've also usually dedicate about 2 hours of my time every Friday driving around Rolando Park, Redwood Village, filling out get it done reports. I filled out a good amount on Streamview, and Streamview is a nightmare. I am going to be honest. It's sad to see that, but you know what? I'm really hopeful with the Streamview plan, the CIP that is coming. I'm hopeful with continued advocacy, not only from you as residents, but from our office to make sure that this project goes through. I understand also that there was also encampments behind Rolando Plaza that was flagged for me this past week. I actually went over there, did a tour. I visited some businesses, talked to them, really try to get the scope of the issue. So I followed up with HSSD, and I'm going to also be following up with MPD and ESD to kind of see what the timeline is. There's also a lot of brush in the stormwater that has not been cut or cleared for a long time. So I've also flagged that for stormwater's knowledge. They were going to get back to me no later than I believe September 22nd is what they told me. So hopefully we'll be expecting updates there. I know another issue that Lynn and other folks have been contemplating is traffic mitigation on various streets like Loma Alta, Aragon. And so I encourage you all, once I finish this other meeting, I'll send out an email to Lynn detailing how the city actually has provided ways for you to fill out these requests online. So if you want to fill out a traffic study request, if you want to fill out a speed, I think in terms of speed, a faded street sign, stuff like that around the area, you can fill it out yourself online. Anytime in terms of get it done, if something's not resolved within the time frame, let's put in an example. Illegal dumping, I believe, is on public property. It's 3 to 4 days. If it's not getting addressed, it's been a week or two, please contact our office so that we're very aware of the issues that are at hand. Lastly, again, the council president is on leave. He had his first born child. So congrats to the council president. So he will be out until the beginning of October. I understand we're still in the works with Redwood Village and Rolando Park community councils to schedule a cleanup in Xenia Canyon. We have secured the council president for that event, so he will be there, he will be helping, and he will be in attendance. So we are very excited for that. So yeah, those are my updates. Did we have any questions in the audience?
Any questions online? Raise your hand. Any questions here in person? Nope. Thanks, Roberto.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks. Lucero Maganda from the mayor's office. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Apologies. I am also at another meeting, but I wanted to make sure that I shared some updates with you all. It's been a while. So just as a reminder, we try to accommodate the meetings on a quarterly basis, at least given that we work with entire council districts as opposed to communities. So I do try to spread myself as much as I can, but as usual, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to attend as much as I can. So next meeting, I'm hoping to make it in person. So just a couple of quick updates for you all. I did want to flag for this group an important item that's coming up. Sorry for the noise that's coming up to Land Use and Housing Committee. The Housing Action Package 2.0 will be going to committee September 21st. I know this is an item that is particularly interesting to the community, and I want to make sure that everyone's aware and can participate and provide comment if possible. So again, that is going to be September 21st. Act 2.0 will be going to Land Use and Housing Committee. I also, kind of on the topic of encampments and homelessness, I wanted to provide an update regarding the unsafe camping ordinance. I wanted to share that enforcement of this ordinance is now in effect, targeting the unauthorized tent encampments in certain areas. San Diego Police Department continues to employ a progressive enforcement model, meaning that they do offer resources and education upon that first contact with individuals experiencing homelessness. For a refresher of what the unsafe camping ordinance does, it prohibits encampments at any time, regardless of shelter availability, in certain locations that pose a public health risk, such as within 2 blocks of K through 12 schools, near within 2 blocks of parks, transportation hubs, and waterways. Again, this was signed into law and is now in effect. And I'd be happy to send over more information, but I do know that this is an ongoing concern, particularly in District 9. So I wanted to share some of that. And then just a couple of quick updates along the lines of enforcement. We're also working to ensure that while we are implementing the enforcement of this ordinance, we are also working to ensure that there is as much shelter and diversifying our shelter options as much as possible. So currently, the Safe Sleeping Program, which is located at 20th and B, the operation yards, provide shelter for roughly 145 individuals that are living in tents. This is the program that offers clean tents, cots, meals, and bathrooms that will also be providing supportive services for individuals who are in transition to permanent housing. We are looking, hopefully in the fall, to open a site near Balboa Park, which will have capacity for up to 400 tents. Again, this is in addition to all the other shelter options that we currently have, and in an effort to diversify our shelter availability for folks that don't necessarily want to accept traditional shelter, but we want to make sure that they're not camping in areas that are not only unsafe for them, but also for the community, and then also provide them with the resources to help them get on a path to permanent housing. So those were a couple of the items that I wanted to flag for you all. Additionally, we are looking for feedback on any streetlight repairs. Transportation Department has a tentative work schedule, and they are working throughout the city to make sure that they are addressing the lights that are out. So if you have any reports, you can feel free to send them over my way, or work with Roberto, your council representative, to make sure that we are flagging for the department, and also make sure that you are reporting the issues as you see them. So that's my report. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Lucero. Audrey, you had a question for Lucero?
Yeah, it's actually Debbie. I have a question. The mayor in the big California city, the California Big City Mayor Coalition has sponsored a conservatorship reform to the legislative Senate Bill 43. I'm looking for text regarding that reform and what they're requesting. Do you know where I can find that?
I can share some of that information with you via email. I'll send it over to you, Lynn, and you can circulate it. But yes, he did. He is supportive, and I can share that language with you all.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Good. Thanks, Debbie. Thanks, Lucero. Any questions here in person? Yes, Lionel. You might. So we can hear you.
I'm concerned about them giving these people on the street help to these people. And then here's problem.
I'm not sure if I'm not if it's my phone, but I don't think I can't hear that well.
Would you might come up here, Lionel?
The mic.
Yeah, a little closer to the
working on the
Yes, my name is Lionel Smith. I'm concerned about the needles and all the other drug paraphernalia that you're giving to the shelterless people. And I've been doing researches on Chicago, Minneapolis, and people back in the Midwest. They have teams that go out and meet these people and not just give them drug paraphernalia, and they try to get them help. And the veterans is brought into the VA instead of into a tent. And because they have very bad weather back there, and we're going to be getting some rain here soon. So I'd just like for you to address those two things and what is the city is going to do about not having people out in the weather when it starts raining in November in the tents, and why we continue to give drug paraphernalia to people who really need mental help.
Question. Thank you, Lionel. Sarah?
That was a question in there.
It was two. Two of them. One was about the paraphernalia providing needles, and the other one is having people outside in the weather when they should be having teams that go out to meet them and provide them meet them where they're at and not where you want them to be.
Got it. Okay. The first part, not sure who you're referring to is providing paraphernalia. But okay, noted. The second part, as you know, we did currently a couple of weeks ago, we went through the experience hurricane. So the folks that are located in OLOT, they were temporarily relocated in Golden Hall because of the extreme weather conditions, and we agree folks shouldn't be out. So that there is that. There is that in consideration whenever there are weather conditions that do not allow for to be outside. So I hear you and just wanted to share that. We just went through that experience, and the folks were relocated because it was not safe for anyone to be camping outside.
Did that answer your question?
Not really, but I
Okay.
guess that's all she knows.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lionel. Thank you, Lucero. Okay. Any other questions, Lucero? All right. Officer Hoskins, you are up, sir.
Hi there. Thank you, Lynn. Hi, everybody. It's good to see everyone this evening. I'll try to be somewhat quick and short. First of all, I will be retiring the end of October. My replacement is an officer, Joshua Cummings. He's been in this area for several years now. He's outstanding, very highly energetic officer, and I'm sure he's going to run circles around me. So I'm sure you will be in great hands. And he was currently on reserve training for this meeting, but I will be with him in person when we go to the next one. So he will be in attendance for the next one. We'll do it in person, and in the process, I think he comes back on the 17th, and I'll be taking him around, introducing him to He knows the area. It's not that he doesn't know the area. He's been there for several years, but at least I'll introduce him to the community members, the community leaderships like Sonia and Lynn and so on and so forth. So if I come up and talk with you, and I have a young man with me, then that's who he is. So his name is Joshua Cummings. Unfortunately, yesterday, well, actually last night, there was a gentleman that was crossing westbound on College Avenue at Streamview. He was actually in the marked crosswalk area. He was doing everything correctly. A dark color sedan was going westbound on Streamview, made a left turn southbound College, ran over the individual, struck the individual, and then he fled the scene. The gentleman was transported to the hospital with a brain bleed. He had a fractured wrist and some other fractures, and we're still looking for the vehicle, from my understanding, and the investigation is ongoing. Lynn, did you or Sonia have time to put up the information that I sent you?
I have it on, I can share it here, Terry, if you want.
Okay, yeah, please.
Yeah, so I get to the right page.
Okay. Thank you. And again, I apologize, Lynn, for the short. While Lynn is putting this up, I have enough days saved for vacation time. I don't want to lose them, so I'm taking 2 days a week off. So unfortunately, I'm only working Monday and Tuesday of each week, but I am attending the meetings in the evening. I'll just be doing it from Zoom from my home. So that is perfect. Make sure I get the right map myself now.
It's a pretty busy looking map right now, Terry.
Yes, no, it's a good map. Thank you. So what you see in front of you is the 30 days, previous 30 days crime report that have been reported to us. And this is the Rolando Park community. Unfortunately, I can't get it to zoom in any bigger on this end. But I will go for and talk about the little wickets on the right upper portion. The fraud case involved a cell phone, actually a couple of cell phones. Someone talked someone into buying cell phones and some other accessories for that, and it ended up being all a fraud. So that was the fraud portion. The larceny was obviously, it's just theft from a vehicle that was left unlocked. The other category, I think I mentioned this numerous times, but they instead of having a bunch of items listed, they grouped a bunch of things for whatever reason the DOJ did, and they follow it, and it falls under the other category. So in this case, it looks like he had 8, which is a lot, and it typically is, but one was there's a missing adult, the hit and run. We had a missing juvenile. We have someone that was under the influence. We did an impound. We had a DUI impound, and we have found property. So those don't necessarily mean something bad. A lot of times it's something that just don't necessarily fit into a crime category. The 2 sex crimes, one you can see kind of in the middle on University, the other one is almost at the intersection of University and College. It's where the 2 teardrops are. They were part of a prostitution ring that was at a couple of massage parlors. And huge thanks to the community members who reported those. I know it took a while to get the ball rolling. Vice was busy having some other things in the mix, so it just took a while, but we had 2 arrests at 2 different locations. One of the locations was 6449 University, and the other one was 6141. And again, we've known about these for a very long time. It just took a while for Vice to get the personnel squared away to go inside. The three simple assaults that you see there with the little fist, two of those were domestic violence, and one was an assault on a bus driver. That was really kind of bizarre. But really wasn't, I mean, it was an assault, so obviously that's never good. Someone that was a little, had some mental illness. The three vandalisms, one was sliced tires, one was light of a vehicle, someone, I think it was a domestic violence type thing. And the other one was just someone's angry and someone broke a window of a residence. If you have any questions about anything from Orlando Park, please raise your hand and let me know, or we can wait to the very end and group them together. It is good seeing when I walk my dog around Orlando Park, because that's where I live now. Seeing community members, it's pretty interesting. Actually, I get a lot of hot scoop from a lot of people. So last thing about Orlando Park, it took a while to get the brush that was alongside the curb line at Waite Drive and Aragon. But finally we got that removed. It took a while.
Yeah.
So
4 weeks.
actually,
Terry,
I think it's fine. Yes.
I believe Principal Noriega has a question for you. I see your hand up.
Okay. Yes,
Hi.
Principal.
Good evening. Is it Officer Hoskins?
You can call me anything you like, but yes, Terry's fine.
Hi, Terry. I'm glad you brought this up. This is my first meeting, so I don't know if this is a normal, regular thing that's on the agenda, but I was just talking to my staff this afternoon that I need to submit in October our comprehensive site safety plan. And part of our safety plan for the school is the crime mapping, which you've shown here. My question is, we were talking about, because I'm new to the school and I'm looking through documents, a reunification location in case of an emergency. So I know we've got the joint use field up above, but if we had to evacuate completely our site, if it was on fire or for whatever reason, I looked to my staff to ask what were the reunification locations that they had mentioned in the past. So I think I'm just throwing this out to you, Terry, because one of them that was mentioned was the 7-Eleven on, is it on Streamview? I'm not sure.
Where it's Billman and Streamview. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And then, well, we were thinking it would 275 families be able to go to that area for us to reunify students with parents in case of that emergency. And then the second location that was brought up was the possible, is there a Methodist church on the corner of, I'm not too familiar with the streets yet. I drive them every day, but I'm not too familiar with, I guess it's an empty lot before you go into our little neighborhood off College and that intersection.
College Grove, and I believe that's a Reformed Presbyterian church there.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Are there other locations? I haven't done the Google mapping of it yet or walked the area to see.
I think both of those locations are approximately the same distance from each other. I mean, from where the school is located. I know that behind the 7-Eleven, there's a larger lot that actually belongs to Dr. Warren. Has a small church and a newspaper business. I think that would probably be the larger, because you could still use part of the 7-Eleven and the little strip mall area and his lot. I also think for in and out wise, it may be better to utilize the across from College Grove, that church, because it would be easier to direct traffic in and out, I think better. But we can talk individually or in person on this. If you want to let me know, and I can contact you and set up a link up, and we can discuss it in person if you like, if that would be
Okay.
better.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. And I can send you Terry's contact information if you need it. Jerry, did you have a comment?
I would like to suggest, I know you need someplace close by, but it, depending on the type of emergency, you might make some kind of coordination effort with the crop center. The kids, a lot of the kids walk there to take swimming lessons when the swimming lessons are going on. Again, it's not as close as the places you mentioned, but in terms of safety and a variety of places, you know, for the kids to be, I think it would be a great location. And if you don't know the name of the people in charge, I'd be happy to give that to you.
Okay.
Thank you. The Croc Center was brought up this afternoon as well, so I will add that as a location. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Terry, did you want to Redwood Village?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So the same thing with Redwood Village, it goes back prior 30 days. They have 15 other, and for their categories, and theirs they had 2 people in the influence of narcotics. They had 4 different impounds. One was a death call. In other words, someone passed away and officers were called, whether it was a check to welfare or whatever, the friend found someone or something. One was a missing adult. We had 2 5150 calls. Oddly enough, there's also was a felony warrant that for some reason fell into this category. I'm not quite sure why. We had 2 encroachment citations or crimes that were committed. We had another missing juvenile, and there was 1 contempt of court that our officers responded to. The aggravated assault, and I think this was also this was a little strange. So someone reported first that they were strangled by a friend, and then once law enforcement arrived and got more into the conversation, it wasn't a friend, it was an unknown friend, and then it became someone they didn't know at all. So that report was 1. The vehicle that was stolen was a motorcycle, so that's the little blue car looking thing, except it was a motorcycle. The robbery was at the beauty shop, and it was also a crime because it was one of the kind of, this is odd. So I guess the female that was inside took 2 wigs, came out. The wigs were priced at, you know, probably $600 roughly total. I assume the loss prevention or one of the clerks came out with them, with her, retrieved the wigs, and then the boyfriend tried to ram him with their vehicle. And then we had 2 simple assaults. One was domestic violence, and one was a road rage where someone got sprayed with pepper spray. Is there any questions pertaining to the Redwood community?
Any questions online?
I can't see hands, Lynn, so.
No, sorry, seeing any either.
Okay. And then last but not least, during the same timeline, there were 5 arrests made in Orlando Park. 2 of them were for drugs, 2 for prostitution, and then 1 was a driving under the influence. And then there were 9 arrests made in the Redwood Village, and they were 2 for narcotics, 2 were for mental illness. 1 was a warrant. The assault and the robbery, those 2, they were arrested, and 1 apparently kept driving around with no license for many times, and he was actually arrested for not having a license. I apologize for to the group that I was going to go to the cleanup this past weekend. However, I had an emergency at my house and I could not go, so I apologize for that. And again, I'll bring Officer Joshua around with me and introduce them, everybody. And I appreciate what everyone does. And you know, the people volunteer their time a lot of times, but I know that the community's leader here, in this case, you got Lynn and Sonia, and you know, there's others that does just a great job. So I just applaud you all the time, and I ran my mouth long enough. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Terry. I skipped over, yes.
On Aragon, we continue to have the equipment, the cement mixers on the street. They move them from one side to the next, from one side of the driveway to the next. Multiple people have done to get it done.
Yeah.
We've been there now for a couple of months. And you know, sometimes they come through and they put the pink slips on them. They've even double pink slipped them. But that's the most that we can get done. I mean, how do we get something beyond that?
They're also working on us over into like.
Lynn, is that on Aragon? I can't see.
Yes.
Yes, it's on Aragon. It's
they're taking parts off. They're, you know,
it's south of Wade, Terry. There's some concrete people there, and they're leaving their concrete mixers out in the street. I think you've seen it if you walk your dog down that street.
I have. Yeah. I'm actually trying to get a hold of because they're renters. So I'm trying to get a hold of the actual property owner to work with me. They also the ones that are nearby that does all the loud parties that you can hear and off of Adams Avenue sometimes. They're just very loud. So Lionel and I do appreciate their patience. But yes, we talked about them, and yes, they kind of know the game. So you put something on, they move it to the other side, drive it around the block, pretend they do, push it to the other side if it doesn't run, and then they tell you that they drove it around the block or pushed it around the block, whatever. So it's just a game. So hopefully we can get more traction with the property owner and in with code enforcement than what we're having. I don't know if that answered your question, but
that one's challenging.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
So we end up having to live with this for a whole year because it just seems like a few months, you know, nothing is really going on. So I'm not really sure who. I guess it's multiple people, agencies that are involved that's supposed to be responsible for this, but it's just getting ridiculous.
Okay, I'll check and see where the inspectors are with code on that again. And since I know where you guys have a walk in front of you all the time, I'll stop by and ask for coffee and I'll tell you what the update is.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you guys.
I skipped over a whole section here and I'm very sorry. We have a section called public comments on non-agenda items where people can bring up any concerns. You can announce an event. And I think Jerry had some non-agenda public comment to make, please.
Yeah, so where's the best place for me to?
Up front, I think. You're close to the speaker, yeah.
So I just wanted to make people aware that, and Terry could probably give some input on this, Captain Knighton, who's the captain in charge of Mid-City Division, in which Rolando Park and Redwood Village are, started an advisory group up after COVID. He started it a few months ago, and there are two of us, and I don't know if Sarah is on this, but she's also on that advisory group, and he holds meetings about every 2 months. And Terry mentioned the prostitution rings, and that was something that we brought up through the advisory committee. And Captain Knighton and Lieutenant Chavez, who's actually Terry's boss, followed up with Vice because they have a long list of these places. But within just about a month of them following up, there were arrests at each of those 4 places. So if there are other things that you'd like us to bring to that advisory group, I'm guessing that the next meeting, Terry, will be this month because our last meeting was July 12th. I haven't heard of a date yet, but if you email the council, that information could get to those of us, the 2 of us who are on that group, and we'll bring it up. Also, we may be needing more help when it comes to these 4 massage parlors, which are really prostitution centers within a half a mile on University Avenue, because it's now with the city attorney. And Terry and I have had experience dealing with the city attorney on another issue. And sometimes it takes a lot of pressure. So if we need help, we'll let you know. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Jerry, I don't know what the captain, he had COVID for like a week and a half, so he just kind of came back. But I would like, hopefully he does have one. That way Joshua can see how that goes, even though it's pretty simple. But hopefully we'll get word out within the next week or 2. So hopefully October at the latest.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Pete, you had a question for?
I have just something to report to Olivia and Terry. I walk a couple miles in the neighborhood most days of the week, and I noted I walked by the front of the school, which is my backyard, on Friday while the events were occurring in the morning, and I noticed that both sides of the street were fully lined with cars, including along the red curb. Yeah, there's got to be some way to manage that a little better.
That was definitely, thanks, Pete, for bringing that up, brought to my attention by some of our school staff, namely our custodian or building supervisor, Ernesto and Chris, that during the morning drop off, as well as dismissal time. And I know Friday we had the 3 events going on at once, or actually 2. And I've been monitoring. So as a new principal, I'm observing and looking at patterns and seeing what's going on, because I think that's going to be my next outreach to the community, or to our school community, because we do have that new parking lot that's off to the side, and I haven't well planned it out yet, but my thought is I need to divert some of that the cars that are coming through to that parking lot, which means asking teachers to dismiss from that side to alleviate some of that traffic. I've brought it to school police's attention also. So Officer Bruce has come out once. I don't think he's fully seen the extent of the traffic, but I'm working with him also to get some ideas, because, and along with that, we're going through site modernization this coming year. We're in the works of it. And in speaking with the planners from the school district, that was one thing that was brought up too. Just the no parking zone, the red zone, and some of our kids that ride the bus isn't even able to get through because of the double parking that takes place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, we're going to move on to community announcements. And I'm going to start with Jennifer Bennett from Redwood Village. Hey, Jennifer, I sent you an email. I had some updates for Redwood Village. I don't know if you saw my email, but feel free to jump in.
I did see it. Sorry, it was so late, Lynn. Thank you. I'm sorry I could not attend your cleanup on Saturday either. We had a conflict. And besides that, it's been fairly quiet over here in Redwood Village. Despite the red curb parking that happens every day at Darnall Charter School across the street from my house, and the driveway blocking by the parents as well. Besides that, no other updates. Thank you.
Thanks. So I do have a couple of things to share. And we want to see that? Because I want to start out before I announce anything and just thank all of the volunteers who've been showing up through the summer. We did 4 cleanups this summer. We did 2 on University. We did a joint one with Redwood Village and Oak Park on Streamview Drive. And we also cleaned up the parking lot out here so we could have our movie in the park event. So I just want to thank all the volunteers. Jerry, Michelle, we're all at the last one. We've had more than 40 volunteers this year at the cleanup. So that's pretty spectacular for a neighborhood that doesn't turn up and volunteer for much. So it's much appreciated. And we do have 2 more cleanups to go this year. We're going to be doing a community one at Xena Canyon at the end of October. And we're going to have bins available for residents for bulky item drop-off. And then we'll have our last University Avenue cleanup, I think the first part of December. So again, thank you, everyone. So I have 2 announcements too. Rolando Community Council has invited us to their meeting next Tuesday, September 19th. It's at the United Domestic Workers Hall on Seminole. They have Monica Montgomery Stepp and Amy Reichart will both be there speaking. They'll both be running for county supervisor in November. So it is a great opportunity to hear them both speak if you want to see that next week before the November election. Also, I want to mention, if you don't know, they're building a new Oak Park library, and it'll be at they're getting property from Choyas Lake from the open space, and they're going to have a site tour next Thursday at 3 o'clock. I find these directions just a little vague, about 3 blocks east of 54th. So I think if you want to go, you put on some good walking shoes and look for a cluster of cars there, and I think you'll be able to find out where the site's going to be.
It's actually in the park?
Sorry,
It's actually in
it's actually the entrance will be off College Grove. I think they'll be creating a new street in. They'll be starting construction, I believe, in another year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, they have money they need to use up, so. So it's going to be a little closer than the College Rolando Library, but anyway, go see it if you want. It's good. Should be a nice tour. Jennifer, I am just going to go ahead and tell a few people about Streamview because our planning group had a second meeting with city engineering and communities in August. And they came back, they had showed us some revised plans. They took a lot of input at this meeting. They'll be back again this fall with another design concept that will show that incorporates community input. So one of the things they've been asked is to try and include landscaping in phase 2, and they are accommodating that. I think this is a little hard to see. Mm-hmm. This is the west segment. This is from 54th up to the first roundabout. What you can see, all that green is landscaping that they're adding. They're not adding, I don't think, as many trees as we are asking for. And one of the restrictions they have is that they've already done the undergrounding. So they can't put trees everywhere that we would like to have them put. But they are doing landscaping. So that in itself is big. There's very little stamped concrete here. They will be putting reverse angle parking in down that big wide section at the west end of Streamview. So there'll be more parking down there, and it will be a little harder to speed. So the east segment will have 3 more roundabouts. I'm sorry. There's 2 at the east end, 3 at the west end. I have it backwards. 3 at the east end, 2 at the west end. There will not be any reverse angle parking at this end that's close to College because the street is so much narrower. There just isn't going to be any room for parking there. We hope to have a better landscape design concept next time, but you can see they plan to add landscaping down both sides of Streamview Drive.
They incorporate any bike lanes or?
I don't see them on here. Jennifer, do you know?
Bike lanes.
Bike lanes?
I do recall there being bike lanes in, let me see. But I don't see them in this rendition.
Yeah, I didn't see them. Didn't see them. We'll ask at our next meeting. That's a good question. Thank you. We'll find out. They're going to be back before the end of the year with a revised concept. So we'll make sure. One thing I want to say about this, that is not a roundabout. That's an oval about.
Yeah.
And it's because that section, this is at 55th, which is really wide. And so the only way that they can really make it, to actually make it speed effective, to calm the speed down, is to change the shape of it. So it's sort of a rotated off oval there. It's interesting. So it does look, the city is almost committed to actually getting this project under construction. So we'll see a revised concept this fall, but they do anticipate now that it will start construction in 2025, the spring of 2025, and it's going to be a 3-year construction project. That alone should probably put an end to some of the speeding on Streamview because it's going to be slow going over there. So, and boy, you can't see this, but I did want to mention another capital improvement project in Redwood Village is Choyas Triangle Park. And this is actually on University, if you know where Choyas Parkway is. Sometime in the next year, they're going to start to vacate Choyas Parkway and close it down as when it moves to the next stage, which is the design phase. But this is about a 6-acre park. It's got a little room for like some small concerts. It's got greens. It's going to have an off-leash dog park. It's going to have a little community garden. Very nice pickleball and tennis courts as well. So it's pretty nice. It'll be a nice park. So it is, they've already finished the GDP. They finished the environmental review, and we were told in June that it's expected to move into the design phase in the city in the next few months. And once it goes in design, simultaneously, they'll start the process of vacating Choyas Parkway. So people who use Choyas Parkway as a shortcut are going to find it a little slow going. Initially, the plan was to open Leah Street up, and that's not going to happen until there's some redevelopment there at that shopping center. So that's just what I wanted to say about Redwood Village. Okay. That's the only updates I have. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our action item for tonight, and that's Xena Canyon. So just 2 quick questions. Does everyone know who the biggest property owner of Xena Canyon is? Who owns the most property there? Does anyone not know?
I guess the school.
The school district does, that's right. And if there are homeless encampments in Xena Canyon, where do you think they are?
Right next to the school.
They are right on the school district property, right?
So you talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
So what I understood is there was legislation or a law signed that there's going to be enforcement now.
I'll get to that part in a minute.
Okay.
That easy. Okay, yeah, so what I don't know what happened here.
Someone drew on it. I don't know who had their drawing tool out and like drew on it.
I did.
That's okay.
Chris did.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Technology
So-
got a little bit of the best of me. Apologies.
Yeah, so this red boundary, this map actually came from the school district, from the real estate office. So when you look down there, most of us have been using Get It Done to report homeless encampments, which turns out not to be the most effective way because it goes to neighborhood policing and it will sit there for a few weeks, and then they will tell you that you need to contact the school police in order to get it looked at. So Yeah, there is an unsafe camping ordinance in effect. It's not here yet. So a few weeks ago, Sonia and I contacted neighborhood policing, and we included Terry on this loop to ask what would happen in the canyon, since it turns out that the biggest property owner, actually has multiple encampments, and yet we can't get them to take care of the encampments. And the short answer that we got back a few days after that was that they haven't really talked to their community partners yet. So neighborhood policing is not working with the school police on the homeless encampment problem in Xena Canyon. So I did reach out then. We're working with a group, an environmental equity group called Groundwork. And I reached out to ask them if they knew someone that we could talk with at the district about trying to do something different in Xena Canyon, other than just continually reporting, clean up an encampment, go back, do it again a month later. And turns out they did know a few people, and we talked to a few people along the way, about 12 people. And the initial response that we got was, well, we don't have enough police officers to patrol the canyons. And I tell you what, we'll put you in touch with your officer there, and he can walk you through doing a cleanup. Okay. I know. Yeah, that was pretty much my response. I said, excuse me, we've been doing cleanups for several years here. It's not productive. This is beyond what we can. And it's not sustainable. Yeah. Exactly. So, okay. So the short end is we ended up taking a meeting with the real estate supervisor for the district. And she came back with a suggestion, which I'm going to post here, because they've actually done this at another school. The suggestion is that we can go to the city Parks and Rec department and ask them to designate Xena Canyon as open space. A lot of canyons here are already open space. It will be like the joint use agreement in that the school district will still own the canyon, but the city Parks and Rec department will be the managers of the open space, which means we would have rangers come here to help deal with encampments. So there's a third part of that, which is that it's most effective to alleviate the encampments if the canyon is actually being used. If there's a lot of traffic, if people are hiking, walking in the canyon, if we have, I don't know how long you've lived here, but 25 years ago, I used to walk my dogs in the canyon all the time. I would come home from the store and walk across the canyon and go home. And I don't think anyone's done that in the last 10 years. You shouldn't be, because there's a number of encampments down there. So their suggestion,
broken glass and
there's
needles and stuff that your dog can
three
use.
fires,
yes.
and the last fire, actually, they had to come put it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really surprised that after reporting fires right next to a school.
Nothing, no.
Well, I mean, no, I really anticipated there being a little more enforcement in this area because of the vicinity to the school.
Yeah.
And
I know, it is a frustrating situation. So the suggestion was that we talked to a group like Canyonlands, and I don't know if you know Canyonlands. Their mission is to restore canyons in the city of San Diego to their natural habitat. They've done a couple of projects like this. The first suggestion that I had about this was from Terry, because Linda Pennington from the Homeless Coalition has pretty much eradicated homeless encampments in Manzanita Canyon by following this process, where you have a group come in like Canyonlands. They help you establish trails and restore the canyon to its natural habitat. So I have talked to Canyonlands. We have a meeting with them in a few days to talk again and see if this is something the community wants to support. The school district real estate officer, the reason she suggested this is because they just finished this project at Taft Middle School in Ruffin Canyon. Same kind of process, and I put this up because that brown area is the school. That green area around there is open space canyon that belongs to the school district, but they signed a joint use agreement that's now open space. So it's being managed by the city. But Canyonland came in, they're restoring the habitat there. They've created some trails for them. I think it's a good proposal, but really people need to, because here, this is where we're at. We have a no trespassing sign there because it belongs to the district. And these two pictures, these are two of, I don't know how many homeless encampments that we came across in April when we did our I Love a Clean San Diego down there. And I can tell you that 2 weeks later, those things, if we clean them up, they're back 2 weeks later, pretty much. So we could stay with this model, which clearly is frustrating and not working, or we can work at trying to do something like this, where we have, if you come in off Xena Drive, you would actually see a sign there that says Xena Canyon open space, and create some trails, restore the habitat. And we would have a canyon that's open to the public and to our own community. And the byproduct of that is that the more people that use the canyon, the fewer problems we're going to have with homeless encampments, because they just don't want to have people tramping around and hiking. So we really need to know what people think about it. And if you think we should pursue this, then the next step would be to talk to Canyonlands. And then we would go and meet with the open space director from Parks and Rec and get a process started. Edith, you got to.
So it's not considered parkland right now? It's
No.
Mini park?
The first 10 feet is called the Xena Mini Canyon, and that part actually belongs to the city. And if you go there now, we actually did find out that our park manager, who manages just the community parks, I found out that he's actually responsible for that. So he came out a few weeks ago and he cleaned the first 10 feet. He sent a crew out, they cleaned the first 10 feet, and they put a bollard in the entryway there to keep the shopping carts out. They have
a cold pallet cart. I mean, it's just.
Oh, I know.
Super efficient.
I see it when I walk on the upper field, because I walk up there at the joint use park every week, and you can look down and you can see the encampments down the side, but I see literally flat carts from Home Depot, Sam's Club. So that bollard was meant to try and reduce some of that, the bulky stuff anyway.
So there's new law for enforcement that's new, right? Is there any funding involved with task force for this enforcement or anything like that?
I'm just even wondering if the city can enforce it on private property. But what I was going to add related to that proposal is that when I go to the Homeless Coalition, open space rangers are critical, and they do keep the homeless out. I mean, they're really good at it. They come to the Homeless Coalition meetings with the police. They cooperate with environmental services to do cleanups. I mean, there's only like a small number of them citywide, but if we could get them involved, we would have a lot less problems with homeless.
Yes, and I agree, because we have a terrific ranger over at Choyas Lake who actually came from the Mission Valley River Project. So he's very familiar with homeless encampments, and he pretty much makes it his day to drive around and keep Choyas Lake as clean as possible. So there's some, aside from the fire issue, we've had some really serious issues at the school too. We had a fence breach in January on the upper field from the canyon side. When the soccer league put that storage bin in, boy, someone in the canyon decided they needed to find out what was up there. So they just cut a hole in the chain link fence and came in on the school property. Pete Zackett and I have reported like a number of issues, because we do have visitors from the canyon coming around the school. And that's a safety issue for us, as well as a fire issue in the canyon. I would also say that, as a community council, we've led this effort to do cleanups in Xena Canyon for, I don't know how many years. And one thing I realized last year, we had, I Love a Clean San Diego came out and did what they call canyon sweeps. And they do them in the afternoon. And they involve high school and college kids who are looking for community service. And after they did 2 last year, they actually said, I'm not sure we can come back again because there are too many homeless encampments here and we don't want our kids exposed to this. And so for the same reason, we asked not to have any kids this year at the event. Somebody brought Girl Scouts anyway, and we kept them tried to in the upper, but it's just, you just don't want kids around this. And I just think what we've been doing is not sustainable as a cleanup effort. And it's actually not productive because we keep repeating it over and over and over again. So I think this is maybe an opportunity to move beyond that and do something with the canyon that benefits our own community as well as the public.
So I guess, I live on the canyon.
Yeah.
My property line goes way
Right.
down past my
That's
property.
what we
Yeah,
looked
it's
at.
like I've got, I don't know, 60, 70 yards down to the canyon. I guess, that would become, part of the,
Not your private property, no. No,
it wouldn't change property. lines or anything.
No, that's not the intent here. This is the intent that just to take the school district property and that part becomes an open space canyon. It doesn't impact private property at all. Yeah. I know someone asked.
So you've researched is like, what's the downside? We have hiking trails in there that people can use to walk dogs and stuff.
We might see a little bit more foot traffic. We might see a few more cars parking along Xena. We might look to see if there's another place, maybe off Jeff Street. I'm not sure because I've never been that far back, where there could be another trailhead to come into the canyon. I don't know. The only trailhead I know is the one off Jeff.
Well, it's definitely, I mean, besides from how unsightly it is, it's been impacting the environment a lot with I see the Yodis down there. We're having more rabbits and squirrels now because their Yodis aren't coming over to our side of the canyon because of the residents down there.
Yeah.
So I think it's affecting the whole thing. There is a little ecosystem down there.
Yeah.
I think if I may, Lynn.
Yes, sorry.
I think that if we can get both Unified to buy off on it and then the city to buy off, because they're going to be one spending the money. It won't be Unified. Taking responsibility of it is really no funding at all for Unified. So they're just getting basically a pass.
Yes.
So if the city or Park and Rec is willing to do that, I think that it would be beneficial. Can I attend that meeting with you guys whenever it is?
We'll have another meeting. Not this one, but I'll make sure you include it in the next meeting.
Only because, I have a fairly large German Shepherd I like to take with me a lot of places. And even though he's a big love bug, but we would go running on those trails and stuff. One of the things that helped Linda Pennington and some of the other trails that I've helped her work for the past 15 years, it seemed like, is that there's an in and there's an out. So it's not necessarily just a big circle loop. So if we could find, as you mentioned earlier, maybe a couple of other entrances where that maybe one can be an entrance where the school is around one of their fences or something before you actually get on their property. I don't know how that would work, but as long as people, I think, have a tendency to like to walk like a in and out thing more than just a loop and back out. But I think that's a great thing if we can make that happen. It really requires a lot of work from a lot of people. I know Linda, there's been numerous places that she's worked at, and it's been a fantastic achievement, but it hasn't came easy. And a lot of cleanup, a lot of stuff that like Vicky does, Vicky Church, along the Chores Creek area. It'd be great to incorporate that little canyon there somehow or another with Choice Creek, and maybe even if they could walk along Redwood Village to where the water underpass comes back out. And I mean, that would be amazing if you could link all of that together. I'm not that wise to say whether or not that's doable, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah, thanks, Terry, because I think, yeah, we would have to work with a third party, and the school district actually recommended Canyonlands because they did just finish this project at Staff Middle School. And they're interested in talking with us. A lot would depend on the funding for it. But they actually have the experience that we need to do a project like this. It also would involve a fair amount of volunteer work too, because we'd be doing different kinds of cleanups. We wouldn't be cleaning up homeless encampments anymore, but we would be trying to keep our canyon clean. We probably would want to start a group like Friends of the Canyon, Friends of Xena Canyon, you know, so we can organize orderly cleanups. A
lot of times they want people to rip out the invasive non-native plants so that we can put in the native plants that should be blooming there that favor the ecosystems and
exactly
should.
So Judy, you had a comment?
Oh, I just wondered, I know this is going to be an action item, for or not, or against, but how do you do the voting? You tell the members who didn't come or there what this is about.
Well, they would actually have to attend the meeting either online or or here. So
So can you put it in a proposal format so that we know actually what we're voting on?
yes, I have actually some ballots here, and I'll put it up. I'm going to drop the link online in the chat for people. So if you're online, you can, and you're a member, you can vote. But otherwise, I'm going to pass out to the members here, and we'll just tally it up tonight. I'm more concerned to hear about if people have any concerns about this.
Well, I was going to suggest, I know Terry might know more about this with Linda, that you talk with Linda before meeting with Canyonlands. She's still associated with them, but she has some interesting perspectives. Terry, I know she used to work with them, be employed, I think, with them, but now as a volunteer. But you might want to talk to her before meeting with Canyonlands.
I think she may be still in Oklahoma. I know she was gone for a while.
Yeah.
But obviously you can still call her and stuff. But yeah, I think that's a great suggestion, Jerry.
If she is in Oklahoma, it's difficult to reach her because she doesn't always have internet or phone access.
Normally, if you text her and then, you know, not expecting to talk with her immediately, kind of arrange for a time or something, and you're more likely to get a hold of her so she can kind of plan when you're going to be calling her or something. But that is a great suggestion, though, Jerry.
Yep, thank you.
She also works with another group called, what is it, Terry? Ocean Discovery. They got some money from Ocean Discovery to do one of the other canyons.
Yes. I don't know that much about that particular organization. I've helped them clean up stuff, but I don't know as much as what I do with Canyonlands. But you are correct. Yes.
Okay, so just drop in the chat. And a bunch of pens.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, really. No, we'll do.
Directions from the boss. Sorry.
Okay. It's members.
We're not members.
We are not.
But
You're not.
what's membership required?
That was really easy, Lynn.
Candace, did you have a question?
Yeah, what's the requirement to vote? I own a house in the area and I grew up in Rolando Park and went to Rolando Park. So I'm
Awesome. You just have to be a member. You can join on our website, or you can pay us the $12 if you come to a meeting, but our website has membership. You can just join right there online.
Okay, so I can't vote tonight.
Not tonight, not until we get your inactive member. Yeah.
Okay, well, I unofficially vote in favor of this. That canyon was my happy place as a child. I'd like to see that return to its glory.
Awesome.
FYI.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, one of the other things that I was wondering about is if considering to have the school designated a community school might give us more support from the school district.
That's something I would have to talk to Olivia about. Yeah.
Ballots? Yeah.
Ballots, yeah.
This is Pete. I just voted in support of this idea.
Thank you, Pete.
Yes, so did I. Do you get all this immediately, Lynn, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out from my the forms to see, and oh, thank you. Wow, lots of online voting.
Yeah, yes, we got that. No.
Unanimous.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. So the next step then is I'm going to have a meeting with Canyonlands and Groundwork just to see their interest, talk about things like funding. They've already talked to City Parks and Rec about other canyons. They know who we should be talking to there. So next meeting, we'll have an update for you then. And I don't know if we'll have a timeline, but we'll know if the process can move forward or not. Okay. Thanks, everyone. And that's all I have tonight. Next month, sorry, just a sec, Terry. Next month, we're going to have the designer from Groundwork who drew up a nice design for the pocket park at College and College Grove. So she'll be here to present that, Cheryl Priatel. And then we also have a couple of concepts for a monument sign. Groundwork is helping us navigate that with the city. There's a whole process, folks. That's a right of way owned by the city. So of course they don't care about it, which means they don't maintain it, even though it's the entrance into our community. So Groundwork has helped us get through the permit process, and we'll talk about the pocket park design. And again, this is going to be, we want our members to take a more active part in this by voting. I mean, and let's talk about the issues and things. So we'll talk about that in the monument sign next month. Okay. And that's all we have for tonight. So thanks everyone for coming. Thank you.
Thank
you. Good night.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Lynn. Bye-bye.
Congrats, Candace, for joining.